Hey guys, how's it going? Well, I got my second dose on Friday. It's Sunday, and I was like pretty wiped out most of the day yesterday. Just kind of like groggy and just tired, just tired. Um, and my arm hurt a lot more than it did after the first dose for some reason. So anyway, but nothing major. I did make sure that I hydrated really well because I've heard that that's one thing that does make a huge difference. And I mean, I guess it's important to make sure you're always well hydrated, but I've heard that it also helps to increase your blood, like make sure that your blood volume is good so that your antibodies like kick in quicker or something. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically all. That's all I have to report. I took some ibuprofen a couple times, but yeah, feeling better and very relieved. Okay, so I have put together my bundles of papers for the journals. There's 12 bundles. Um, I had used some scrapbook papers that I already had like in my stash, but I wanted to include some of the new papers that I got in these journals. So I just went through and I pulled out some of those to make some pocket pages and just add in a little bit of extra color and that kind of thing. So I definitely wanted to use some of it, and then I still have lots of that wrapping paper from the wrapping paper books that I got last year. Um, anyway, so I just need to kind of go through these stacks and sort them into signatures. So I thought I would just, I thought I would do that with you guys and kind of give you an update on where I'm at with the journals. So what I'm going to do, sometimes I will, if I'm going to do pages like this, where it's going to be, this is like heavy cardstock, so sometimes you get that splitting, but sometimes I will stitch these up, ahead of time, just to kind of streamline the process, before I start sorting things out. But I think what I'm going to do with these, since there's only 12 of them, I know that's a lot for a lot of people, but since there's only 12, I think that I'm going to do that kind of as I go. So I'll talk more about that later. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of sort these into paper types and then stack them up. Make sure I have like all my sort of like plain paper, without lines and stuff all together. And then I'm just gonna, hold on. And then I'm just gonna sort of deal them out like cards, like I usually do. I did add some glassine paper to these. I need to get some more of that. It's really cool. You can buy glassine paper at clearbags.com. And it's really cheap. They sell it to because a lot of like print makers and stuff will add a sheet of glassine paper in between their pages that they've printed. So because it's like non-stick. Anyway, lots of ledger pages in these. I'm using quite a few pages from that really big French ledger, and then other ledgers that I have in my stash. I have really depleted my stash considerably, so I've been kind of shopping around for. So these little ones I'm going to set aside for a minute. Anyway, I've been shopping around for ledger. Anyway, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the heavier scrapbook papers, and I'm going to do 5 signatures. So I'm just going to make sure that I kind of split these out. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not scrapbook paper. It's from something else. It's from a like a photo album. I'm just trying to make sure that I get a good variety sort of spread out throughout the journal. Let's put that one there. These little ones. Okay, and then let's do the like plain papers. So I think there's 3 of these. So I just don't want them to be all in the same, I want them to be spread out evenly throughout the journal. So trying to make sure I put the same number of pages in each signature, but I don't know, like I don't count them or anything. I just kind of try to make sure that they're all the same like thickness, because obviously some of these papers are thicker than others. So it's not really, for me, it's not necessarily about the number of pages. It's about the thickness of the signature. So lots of onion skin paper in these also. A while back, I kind of changed my style, I guess, a little bit, and I started making my journals more geared towards just writing, rather than lots of decorative type of pages and stuff. So I do try to include lots of paper that people can just write on, but still lots of variety. These just all came out of different sources, different ledgers. Wait, split that. Okay, and then I think there's 3 from that French one. So then just a few book pages. I'm not using a ton. Most of these are from like French dictionaries and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not all French stuff in here, but I am gonna include quite a bit. I also have quite a stack of like add-in stuff that I want to include. Okay, so I'm just kind of making sure that each stack feels about the same, as far as weight. And then I want to figure out which page I want to use as my like cover page, and I think that's going to be the pocket page for most of the signatures. So that's going to be that'll be my last page. And then I try to find something kind of cool to use in the center of the signature. So I think I'm going to use that piece of ledger in the center. And I can always switch things around too if I think I want to add some paper bags into these too. So the other thing is I want to make sure that I don't use papers that are going to wind up sticking out too far in my signatures in the centers. So like that blue one I'm kind of concerned about. I don't want to have to go back and trim them, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Not saying it very well, but I used a lot of like full pages, I noticed, in these. Not many like real short little skinny pages, I guess. So this ledger can go towards the back of the signature. Also, I try to alternate, you know, pattern paper from like plain papers, and just kind of scooch them together like that. And then that's one signature. So I'm not going to bind these immediately, because as I go, once I get all of my signatures sorted, then I will put the signatures into the cover and then just rubber band it together. And then I'm going to go back through them. I probably will go back through each journal 4 or 5 times, and just complete different processes, you know, each time I go through it. So let's see, this will be my like cover page. I'll just do a piece of coffee dyed paper as my center page in this one. Some glassine. Let's do that black. So this is kind of interesting. It's perforated on one side, so I've been trying to be really careful with it to make sure I don't tear it. I've been, oh, here's a good show for you guys. What's it called? Crime Scene. It's on Netflix. It's called Crime Scene, and it's a disappearance at the Cecil Hotel. It's about this girl from Canada that, it's about this girl from Canada that disappears at the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. It's really good. It's like a documentary type of series. And I think it's only like 5 episodes or something, but it's really good. Anyway, so I added some pages from that Florilegium book into these. Such a cool book. I think I might actually have to buy another copy of that book. I'm going to use this for my cover page. Can you guys hear the cat's feeder? I have this automated feeder for the cats, and you can make a little, like a recording on it, and so it goes, "Here, kitty, kitty, come on, buddy," and and so it gives them. I think I figured out the perfect amount to feed the cats, all 3 cats, twice a day. So they get 7 little like turns of the thing that dispenses the food. They get 7 little turns, but every time that thing turns, it repeats the recording. So it kind of like carries on for quite a while. So, I mean, I might add more stuff in between some of these pages. I don't know, but I kind of just wanted to get these into some semblance of order, you know, so I kind of know what I'm dealing with. And also I wanted to make sure that I didn't have too much paper going into them. A lot of times I wind up I wind up prepping a lot more paper than I need to. So this one I'm going to use in the center, but I'm going to hold it that way because I want that to be the center. Let's put it like that. Hopefully it won't be too wide. Just trying to have nice variety, color, different weights of paper, different textures, all that kind of stuff. I try not to put too many of the same type of paper, like, you know, close to each other in the journal. This is a really cool old French, like, botanical book, like from the 50s or something. This is like almost like construction paper weight, like grid paper. It's kind of neat. Let's see. I'm running out of options here. Let's see. Okay. All right, last one. Okay, which one do I want in the center? Let's put this piece of ledger in the center. Some really cool onion skin. I'm running out of onion skin paper, guys. If there's anybody out there that wants to share some onion skin with me, I'd be happy to take it off your hands at a fair price. Just saying. I might have to trim some of these. We'll see here in a second. I'm going to stick them inside the cover. And we'll see how, if they stick out on the edges too much. I would like to add tabs on some of these pages too, so can't have the tabs sticking out too far either. Okay. And that's another reason that I didn't want to do very much like machine stitching on any of these ahead of time, because I want to add tabs and I want to stitch them on. So I thought it would be better to just go through each journal, add the tabs, do the stitching, kind of like, you know, with each one at a time, you know. Anyway, so yeah, perfect. Okay. So I think those are going to work. And so now, see, I still have room to grow in there. Perfect. Which is good because I've got a ton of other stuff that I want to add into these. So anyway, so that's just kind of my process. I've got each little bundle here, and it looks, you know, it looks like it's, you know, going to be too much until you actually put it inside the cover, and then, you know, you can kind of get an idea. But these are going to be fat. These are going to be very fluffy, chunky journals because I've got a ton of stuff that I'm going to add in. So I guess I said that already. But anyway, so that's my process for sorting signatures. And so I'm going to go through and do all of those. I've got them all sorted out here. And then the next step is going to be, I've also got to go through, hold on a second. I've got this tray. I've got this tray full of stuff that I want to like make into tags. A lot of stuff that I've printed from things that I've scanned. This is from that scrapbook paper. I'm going to cut those up and maybe just ink them and stuff. Cut them up to put in the journals. But I printed off some scans of some old French music pages, and then I took a whole bunch of my, like I took all these pages of scrapbook papers that I didn't particularly love, and I just collaged a whole bunch of book pages on those. And so I've just cut those apart and cut them into like tags sizes. So those I need to do some work on. I'll probably, cut the corners on them and round the bottom corners. I just like that look. Punch some holes, maybe do some inking and some stitching and add some kind of topper on them and just leave them like that. I'm not going to do a whole lot of embellishing on these. So I've got those. I pulled out a whole bunch of, I've had this box of book pages, just different books that I've, collected, taken the books apart, and I've just saved tons of the pages. And so I just went through and glued, some kind of paper onto the back of them. And so I just have a whole bunch of these little pages that are folded in half. I don't want to use these as pages in the signatures. I just want to use them to like maybe paper clip onto the edge of a page, or maybe even make them into some like little thin notebooks to add to the journals. But they're kind of like all different sizes, so I don't know. I have a bunch of paper left over from putting these together, and so I might just do like an assortment from this and make these into some little notebooks to just add into the journals too. So I've got those that I want to work on. There's a bunch of them. And then some are just like a single image from a book that I've glued onto like just different kinds of paper, just to make them, just to cover up the writing that was on the back of them. So these I'll be working on, and maybe do some stitching and stuff on some of these too. So I've got those. It's funny, I put things away in drawers and stuff, and then I totally forget that they're in there. So every once in a while I have to like just start exploring in here, Oh, and then this is the rest of the collage pages, where some of them were done on like the cover of a scrapbook pad, of a scrapbook pack, So the paper that's on the back is kind of that like glossy paper, and it's really not that great to write on because your ink will smear, like especially like a ballpoint pen, your ink will smear. So anyways, I think these I'm just going to make into pockets, and I think I can stitch these onto pages sort of as I go, like on my next step, when I go through the journals again. I'll do some prep work on these first. Probably just round off the corners. God, this thing is dusty. Oh, that's the wrong one. Probably just round off the corners and then do some stitching on these, maybe add like a label or something, and then just make these into some very simple pockets that I can stitch onto some of these pages. So there's those. What else is in here? Like I said, a bunch of stuff that I just printed from scans. This is an old French botanical book that I scanned a bunch of images. Oh, and then there's some little old school books too that I printed off. Just random things that I printed. There's some more of the music, the sheet music. This is another really old botanical book that I scanned. Just other little things that I want to add in to the journals for extra writing space, And then some of these book pages from those old botanical books that I bought from the UK. Can't remember the name of it now. But anyway, so I just glued them onto some coffee dyed drawing paper. It's like heavy drawing paper. And so I might kind of I might do some embellishing on these and make them sort of like writing boards, I don't know. And I found some of these old images that I had glued onto some this is paper from an old photo album that I glued these images onto. So I don't have 12 of them, but there's some. I have a couple more books like this that have images like this. I might try to find those and see if I can share some more of these. They're just all children. They're really neat. But it was a good way to preserve them because it was real fragile book paper, and just glued them onto that photo album paper. If you ever come across one of those old photo albums, it's just really nice paper. I don't know. I really like the texture of it. So it's nice to collage on and that kind of thing. And it's nice to use as backing for book pages. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And I don't want to pull the sewing machine out yet because once I do that, then it's a commitment. I just have so much stitching that I need to do. I kind of want to have everything ready to stitch, so that way I can just burn through it, Anyway, but I just wanted to sort of give you guys an idea of where I'm at and what I'm doing, and keep you posted. I also have a bunch more fussy cutting of these little these mushrooms. I had printed these off a long time ago and just glued them onto a piece of cardstock, and so I'm just gonna fussy cut these out, and then maybe I can use them as little tuck spots in the journals and stuff like that. And then I have some other flower book pages that I want to do the same. So, whoops, you guys didn't see that. I did my taxes a couple days ago. That was fun. Anyway, so I'm excited. I'm getting there. I won't even show you the other stuff that I'm going to add into these because it's just insane. I pulled out a whole bunch of books that I had forgotten about, and so I want to add some pages from those books and just different things. So anyway, short and sweet, and I will be back sooner than later. And thank you guys, all of you, for your support on the show and sell video. I totally forgot to email Jenna and tell her that I was posting that video where I showed her journals, you know. So I hope she wasn't like surprised if anybody reached out to her. But yeah, I gotta ship those back to her. So I better email her, huh? Anyway. Okay, guys, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye for now.